Just,
Oh, we're live already. Okay.
yeah, because you know that this live has to be the first live that we put up because it's so stupid. This YouTube love.
I guess I just leave moving on.
Oh yeah, perfect. I'm gonna go live on here.
I'm going live on Facebook. Well, I'm gonna go live on Insta first.
I'm just like putting it up on my phone.
Where's my phone? Do this?
Look at my
Okay.
my fucking my other live. What did you think about my Did you see my Kevin Hart Instagram post I posted with his face? Did you like it?
I did. I don't know if I liked it.
Why?
Because I think I like scrolling too fast.
Oh no, I meant like, did you like what I was?
Oh yeah.
You liked it?
Yeah.
I was like,
Whew. I'm trying to wake my face up.
wake it up.
Yeah.
Oh, you started a live video.
I started the live on the Instas.
Live! Oh my god, this iPhone X is just so. Look, my thing is being ratchet.
Oh, it is getting a little ghetto.
Why is it? Because you know what? Oh, this. Okay, stop this. Let me just do this, right?
What is it, buds?
I'm just.
Oh hey, Rachel girl, how you doing?
Hey Rachel girl, how you doing? Oh my god, oh no! Hey Bookie.
How you doing? So I guess I might as well go live on the Facebook too at this
Go
point.
live.
Go live. We doing it.
Go live.
I always have, like, you would think I know how to do this, like, pretty streamlined at this point.
Because we used to be so live.
Yeah, but
Oh, hey,
David, how you
David.
doing? Moving like a grandpa. as I
Let me.
usually
Oh, I gotta
do.
fix this. Okay.
Okay.
We are live. Okay, we're live on all the lives.
Live. Hey guys.
We're
what's
live
going
on all the lives. Let me push this back a little bit because this Instagram live is just not showing my cute hairstyle for today. Hey! Okay. Let me back up. Give me back up.
You can back up a little
Back
bit?
up with me 1 minute.
A little bit.
We're live.
Get comfortable on the couch.
Yes.
Get out of
Okay.
your spaces. Oh.
Alright, so we're gonna start the live because it's 10 o'clock and we're on fucking time.
We're on time.
For
We're here.
once.
We're ready to go.
If you don't know, now you know. It's me, your girl Antoinette, that bitch, my couch, and I'm here with Brandon, and it's Brandon Tom's live!
Live. What's going on, y'all? How y'all feeling
He's
tonight?
gonna just like knock me out with his leg.
I'll be Ike Turner.
Just get ready for tonight. Hopefully Brandon doesn't flood me out with his dripping hair.
Oh, my hair is always fresh out the
It is-
shower, wet.
Don't
It's
ah!
It's
He's
wet.
like
It's wet.
splashing.
It's a little moisture.
Okay, let's start this live off with a couple words for Cyntoia Brown.
Cyntoia Brown. Yes.
If you guys don't know, Cyntoia Brown was recently, I guess, was it this week or last weekend? She was sentenced to 51
51 years, right?
Okay.
This is what we're gonna say, right?
This is what we're gonna say
Right.
today.
We are in the process. We're doing our own research and information. We know there's all the little videos and everybody talking about it, but there's an entire conversation that needs to be had in regards to Cyntoia and people like Cyntoia.
Yes.
So we're really gonna save that for Monday's live.
Yes.
So we just wanted to tell you guys that we are thinking about it. It is in our view because I know you guys are thinking about it. But we want you to join us on Monday after we've done our own research so that we can all come to the table and have this discussion.
Exactly, yes. And there's some information out there as it pertains to helping Cyntoia be granted clemency. So we'll post that if you guys do know more about it and you're interested and want to help. We'll have that information for you guys there.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm ready to dive in.
Okay.
I'm fucking excited about today.
I'm really excited.
We're
I'm
both
really
a little
excited.
sleepy, we have real day jobs and we're tired. But I'm really fucking excited about the live.
I'm real.
Okay, so let's start it right here where we are. I want to talk about meme culture, comedy culture, when is a joke too far? What topics are off the table, right? So I would send Brandon a meme today. Okay, the meme was with the black guy that we've all seen who has the glasses and he's standing and doing the smile and he's like, at your crush's funeral, after she gave you no play and she was killed in a double homicide.
Murder suicide.
A murder suicide by the man that she played you for. I chuckled a little.
See, it was very reminiscent of a meme that I saw, and I don't even think it's a meme.
I chuckled a little.
It seems like it was an actual story where there's a guy who's they're at the wedding, right, and at the part where it says, speak now, forever hold your peace. Thank you for loving the hair, girl. I appreciate that.
I don't care.
But when they say speak now, forever hold your peace, the guy turns around, flashes his gun, into everybody. It's a big old joke, ha 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 ha. But the reality, there's like such a dark reality to all of that it makes it like I think it kind of takes away the actual joy and the comedy of it, like.
The joy in the comedy.
Like, obviously, that comedy does come from a place of, sadness and tragedy, and that's part of where comedy comes from. But
yes,
I think, it's just hard for me personally to laugh at a joke like that. You know what I mean? Because, murder suicides are super common.
Jokes about disabled people? What about jokes about, I actually was going through my memes with my friends, none from our text. But where it was, the sex is so good that you're both acting retarded, and it was the light-skinned lady from the movie. I hate that I didn't figure this out before I got on here. And Cuba Gooding Jr. when he played the radio, and I was like, oh, okay, like, hey, Zarga! I was like, is that too far? Like, can we not joke? Okay. So we can't joke about murder, suicide. We can't joke about sexual abuse. We can't joke about disabled people.
I'm not telling you can't joke about it. I'm just saying that you're just not gonna reach everybody. That's all I'm really saying. Like, I think to make it more palatable, and maybe the goal of that person making that meme was so that people like us would be having this conversation, so we'd all be sitting down and talking about how it is a reality. Like, you know what I mean? Like making it a conversation in a joking way makes it more palatable for people.
Okay, I want to hear from you guys though. Like, what topics do you guys think are off limits in your own personal feelings as it pertains to jokes? Like, what jokes are off limits? I personally, I'm kind of with the children with disabilities kind of line.
That's the line.
That's my line. I think that may be the only kind of line I have, but I'm not really sure. Like jokes about people's looks. I think.
So okay, I think everybody, a lot of comedians will say, once you start to say one thing isn't funny, then everything isn't funny. You can't joke about everything, and I mean, I don't want to take away people's ability to tell jokes. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, like, I think you've got to be. I think it has to be funny. That's what I think it really has to come down to.
But you saying that every joke is not going to reach everybody.
Yes, I agree with that.
Like, just by definition, some things may not be funny to you.
Yes, that's true. But also, like, the meme that you saw, like, you chuckled. You didn't go, oh my God, this was so funny that it, like, moved me and I had to share it. You were like, I thought it was kind of funny, but then I felt a little messed up because I thought it was funny.
I didn't feel messed up about it. I thought it was funny.
Hilarious.
But I have a very, very, my line for laughing is so hard to reach.
I mean,
people think Kevin Hart is funny. I don't think that he's really funny. Like, I've never seen a Kevin Hart movie and been like holding my stomach and stitching. Like, there's very few things in this world. I mean, I'm jaded as a
I think
there's very few things in this world that make me crack up hilarious. A lot of things make me like
chuckle. And honestly, I'm not gonna say I didn't see the meme and like kind of like a like chuckle, but it wasn't enough for me to go like, oh, that was so funny. That was completely worth it. Like, it was an okay joke. It wasn't great enough for me to be like, yeah, that really moved me. But I think
can you think of a joke or a meme that you've heard that may offend some bodies?
I can't think of something right off the back, but I'm sure there's been jokes where I've been in groups of people, we made jokes that are like about black people or black culture, and like if somebody else had made it, I would have been uncomfortable. But even my friend made it, I was a little uncomfortable. But deep down, it was kind of funny. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not great. Like, I don't love it, but like, sometimes you laugh at stuff because that's what we do. When we're uncomfortable, we laugh at stuff. And sometimes stuff that we find offensive kind of makes us laugh. Like, I just say for me personally, I think it's a fine line. And I thought that meme was the meh. I think it was the lightest, it almost made it funny enough for me to not go, damn, that's really dark.
Okay.
Almost.
So let's talk about Kevin Hart.
Okay. Let's talk about Kevin Hart.
Let's Kevin Hart stepped down from doing the Oscars.
Hosting the Oscars.
From hosting the Oscars because of some tweets as well as some of his old stand-up material.
Yes.
So you feel that Kevin Hart's jokes that he made that were, the problematic jokes that he made, which are in reference, were too far.
No. So let me.
Okay.
So this is my issue with Kevin Hart. Just in case anybody doesn't understand, I think Kevin Hart is hilarious. I'm a fan of Kevin Hart's, right? And I have been a fan of Kevin Hart.
Okay.
My only real issue is that here is another example of a black man being called out on his homophobia, and instead of standing in it and saying either stand behind the fact that you're homophobic, right, or just go forward and apologize, because I get it. At some point in your life, the thought of you having a gay son, your only reaction would be to physically assault him, to knock that out. You don't be gay, and we don't do that. Stop it, that's gay. Ha ha ha. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like when I saw that joke back in 2009, I didn't laugh. But I'm not gonna also sit here and pretend like at the same time I laughed, I still felt something on the inside.
Okay.
Because this is somebody who I'm paying to go see, who I'm paying tickets to go see his stand-up in theaters, and he still stands behind his homophobic comments.
Okay.
It's
I do wanna interrupt and say that Kevin Hart issued an apology.
When?
On the 7th of December via Twitter.
Okay, what did he say?
Okay. I have made the choice to step down from hosting this year's Oscars. This is because I do not want to be a distraction on a night that should be celebrated by so many amazing, talented artists. I sincerely apologize to the LGBTQ community for my insensitive words from my past. I'm sorry that I hurt people. I'm evolving and I want to continue to do so. My goal is to bring people together, not tear us apart. Much love and appreciation to the Academy. I hope to meet again.
That's beautiful.
You love it?
That's beautiful.
He loves it. He loves it. Okay.
That's all, honestly.
Oh
but
my God.
But right?
Let's.
So great, Kevin Hart apologized. He's not hosting the Oscars, and honestly, I appreciate him doing it. I didn't even realize he had did that. This was what I don't even know what today's date is. Maybe it was a week ago he did it, but great. But what I want to say is, in doing so, he stepped down from the Oscars. He's not worried about hosting the Oscars, so maybe he actually is evolving, right? But the issue is that in having this conversation and him speaking about this, right, the homophobia and the way that people stand behind homophobia in our community has become even more so present, right? Because yes, he has just apologized, and I appreciate it, right?
You didn't know he apologized.
I did not know he had apologized.
You were upset because you wanted and you needed an apology.
I needed an apology, right?
Gotcha.
And I appreciate that. And if that's genuine, which it does seem like it is, because he's not still hosting the Oscars, because he could have just apologized just to keep his gig and keep that bread, and that's not what he did.
How do you think him standing behind, stepping down, and then issuing an apology?
I think that has more credence to it.
Okay.
I mean, I personally do.
Okay.
I think that shows that you have a level of understanding that what you're trying to do is prove to people that, like, I'm not going to apologize just for a job. You know what I mean? But going back to what I'm saying, the reason that I was so upset in the way that I was upset, right, is the fact that we so consistently talk to all of these people, like, as a gay black man, when the conversation of the LGBTQ struggle in the black community is often pushed to the side. Right? I've had so many.
And what do you mean?
That's very true. Only the future will tell if it was sincere Kevin Hart. I do agree with that. But, I'm optimistic. But I find that so often as a gay black man, right? And having conversations with people I know and having broader conversations.
Okay.
In regards to homosexuality and the black movement and the struggle of black men, I often find that our struggle as gay black men gets sidestepped very, very often.
Okay.
And our experience as black men get pushed to the side because the idea that we don't have those same levels of masculinity, so we don't deal with those same levels of struggle.
Oh wow.
So I think that it's still a problem, like because the great Kevin Hart apologized, right? But let's talk about these group of people, right, who in
the black community.
The black community. And it's obviously not everybody in the black community,
Yes.
right? But people who are willing to envelop him and protect him and say, like, yeah, he said those things, right? But, you know, it's not that big of a deal. And it was this many years ago. And this is before he apologized.
Okay.
Understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That it's you know, he did it all this time ago. It's no big deal. It's no big deal. It was this long ago. What about all the other white comedians that did it? That's great. The white comedians did it. But I'm not worried about the white comedians because they're not black. They're not my black peers, okay?
Yeah.
They're not my brothers and sisters who are basically telling me that how I live and who I am is problematic. And if that was something that their child would embark upon, it would still be problematic.
Do you think that we comedians shouldn't joke about homosexuality because of where we are as a pertains
No,
to it?
I think you can joke about homosexuality in many, many ways, but I think when you say that if your son picks up a Barbie doll and that then you thus perceive that he's gay, that's a problem, and then you go to physically assault him so that he stops being gay, that's a problem. That's not okay. Obviously, there are things that you can joke about within the gay community, like gay men. Gay men are notoriously, you know, sexualized. They're very sexual. They're, you know, and that's not. It's a bit of a stereotype, but there are plenty of people for that's true. It would be fun. You could joke about that. You don't have to say that the gayness is a problem.
So the issue, as it pertained to him talking about, his joke was that the fact that he was talking about physically assaulting his child for his, you know.
It's beyond that because it's even the idea. So like when you hear like people say, I'd rather have a son than a daughter, right? Most people don't say I'd rather have a son than a daughter simply because, you know, boys are like less work and less money. No. Because really it's because society, right? The way we look at women, you know what your daughter is going to go through growing up is going to be the chance of being assaulted, abused, molested. All of these things are greatly increased just because she's a woman.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So you'd rather have a little boy, right? Because you know what society has built. You know that what you have a man have helped to cultivate in the society on the outlook of this young female that you're going to bring into the world. So you'd rather not have to deal with that and rather just have a little boy because you know that the world contextualizes this little boy as something that is going to be fine and going to be safe, he'll be protected.
Okay.
And I think that's the same way people view gay kids, except it comes from a place of dislike and hate and not understanding.
Wow. That was actually a lot for me to process. I mean, my only experience would be from my own relationship where basically like the main man that I was around for a lot of my life, you know, he always said that he never wanted to have a son.
Mm-hmm.
And he always wanted to just have a daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And he, you know, didn't want to have more kids because he didn't want to raise a son. I didn't necessarily think of it as that. I more thought of it because...
And that's I'm sorry to cut you off. That's an entire different conversation, to be quite frank with you.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And not to put too much information on blast, but, you know, you have the concept of being in an interracial relationship, right?
Okay.
And your significant other, your male white significant other says to you, I'd rather have a daughter than a son because I know that my little black girl, right, is going to be raised to be strong, independent, and she's in the class that's becoming the most educated. She's going to have all of these systems around her that are in the next 20 years going to be able to protect her. But my little black boy, I can't even level with my little black boy and try and understand the struggle that he's going through.
Wow. Okay.
I think that's like, you know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
I think there's part of it where you just refuse to acknowledge it. And once you have a little black son, you have to now acknowledge that your white privilege, it's easier for you to accept it because it's a female. It's a woman. It's a woman. Like your girl, my little girl, women are, you know, not equal women. But your little black son, you're now going to have to realize that you're helping to create this system that is oppressing your little black son.
Wow.
Like, but that's what comes along when people say I don't want a trans kid. I don't want a little gay kid. Because there's a system that exists that you help to cultivate and protect that ostracizes those people. And you don't even realize it. By saying those things, you're cultivating that.
Yeah. Well, I think it comes from a true place of fear and actual care that, because you know, like you said, you are a part of the system that cultivates these things. So you naturally don't want anything to, you know, harm them.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like some people also don't know how they'll fare dealing with it or be able to raise them up properly.
But I mean,
right?
but you don't know how you're gonna raise a kid anyway. You understand what I'm saying?
True.
So for you to put, their sexuality as an aspect to determining what type of kid that you want, or their gender to determine what type of kid that you want, it means that there's something, right, in your head that means that you view that lifestyle as something that's problematic. And I think it goes deeper than you just saying, I don't want my kid to have to struggle this way. I think it goes deeper than that. You know what I mean? And I think to go even a little deeper.
Okay, let's go.
As a gay black man, right? I find that I've been in situations with many people, especially women of color, people of color across the board. So when talking about the gay experience, right, the LGBTQ experience and that struggle, how difficult it can be, I often find people are very quick to say that's a separate struggle than the black struggle, than the current struggle that we're in. And I'm often saying to people, it's the same struggle. We're one and the same. People are willing to focus on the intersectionality of black women, right, which is something that's at the forefront, and that's a beautiful thing, right? But we need to deal with the intersectionality that exists within the black movement, with gay people, with the trans community, with us as well. And people have a strong difficulty doing that, and I think that's because of unconscious bias that exists inside of people, right? So once again, follow me because this is a little bit loaded.
I'm here.
So when you think about gay black men, right, you often feminize them, right? Subconsciously, right?
True.
Within our feminine, catty, girl, hey.
Yes.
You're not masculine. Automatically, that's taking away somebody's power. Culturally, understand what I'm saying? Not saying that because you're feminine, you don't have that power. But in the conscious of the culture, if you're perceived as feminine, that takes away your power, right?
Yes.
So now we have this black community, right? And there's this group of people who are men, right? But they're feminized, so we're taking away their power, right? And what happens is that misogyny, right, that exists within our community that affects the black women, right? That same attitude gets applied not just by black men, but also by black women to these group of people because society has built it to be that way.
Okay.
So now I have, not to say that there are plenty of allies, plenty of black women who are up and at 'em and fighting and talking.
And black men.
Yes, and black men, yes.
Yeah.
The only thing is, as someone who is dating a white man, I before hope that if I was to have kids, either with a white person, I hope they look like me so that when I'm with my kid, I'm not looked at like the nanny, LOL. So I see the people not wanting their kid to be a certain way for their safety.
Me, I'll raise my hand. I have a child with a white man, and I've been called a nanny before. It's a very, very real thing. My daughter has very, very fair skin, and I never imagined that she was gonna be that fair, but I also assumed that people would just be minding their own fucking business as it pertains to me walking with a child, any child. Like, if they're not screaming to get away from me, for bloody murder as if I'm kidnapping them, it really is kind of like none of your business. But I do want to say that having been and married and with a white man, I just believe that there are just some things culturally that are just amiss, and that will, no matter how much understanding, that will just remain a disconnect.
No, I think we had a conversation earlier where we were talking about being in a situation where you're surrounded by allies, right? And do you think that if that's your life experience was more nestled in an area of people who you would consider social allies to our cause, do you think that you would have had a different experience?
A different experience in what way?
In regards to expressing yourself and feeling those things, and
the only thing, like we talked about earlier, the only thing about me in that situation was that I'm where I was when I was in that environment versus where I am now is like literally night and day, right? So I'm not sure, where you're coming from, Stevie, but I never really had a true understanding or deep-rooted love of my blackness.
I'm going to tell you, Stevie does. I'm going to let you know Stevie does.
I felt that. So when I was in that space, I couldn't necessarily, or I didn't have the tools to necessarily have the conversations that I feel needed to be had from my part, being the only black person in the room. You know, so me now have been in that situation would have been a completely different situation. You know, like my background is my background and where I come from, but like I wasn't there with it, you know, like I was telling Brandon earlier, like we've had lots of conversations around the dinner table as it pertains to homosexuality, and whereas I had very, very strong feelings and knowledge about that, I definitely stood up and had conversations about that, but you know, on the black-white side of things, I didn't necessarily have the tools or understanding to have those conversations, but like I'm not sure what you're saying, but I am going to say again that I truly and honestly believe that there's a level of disconnect that exists as it pertains to bringing together any different cultures, really. You know, besides black and white, black and Indian, black and Asian. I think that especially when there's, you know, hate or
well, I mean, I think
that exists between the two.
That's where I think a lot of my problem comes in, because we're so quick to. Wait. Can
I go into this, or you want to get that point out? Because I want to say this.
Go ahead.
I haven't read it, but it's a lot. It's so interesting to hear a black man that's gay express these views. I grew up in the projects that was definitely a rough place where the gay men I know and knew were always respected. No one ever tried to test the gay men I know on any level and gain any level of points by trying to test their masculinity.
I mean, I think that's a very interesting point. I'm not sure. Okay. Just shut off the line.
It's like that.
Just pause it. Oh, they're back. We're back. I guess that's a very interesting perspective. But as a gay black man who's been in many different places and many different groups of people, I often find that I've been in many rooms where the people look like me, and because of my sexual because I'm gay.
Sexual expression?
Sexual desire, expression, whatever.
Yeah.
They're not feeling it in that way, right? And I like to say that it is 2018.
Lots of technical difficulties.
That's different than what I've seen, but interesting. I'm not sure what that's in regards to, but please fill me in. But I mean, I just find that there are a lot of people who still categorize us as side. That's my point. Okay. And I mean, I do like to say that I'm very blessed to have a family that loves and supports me across the board.
Amen.
Like, my family loves me, they love my boyfriend, they support me, and I'm very, 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 very blessed. Right? But there are still people who like to say, oh, I'm so woke, I'm so here for it, but when the conversation of homosexuality comes up, it becomes...
You feel like blacks are not rallying behind other blacks? Gay blacks?
Not necessarily they aren't. No, not necessarily they aren't. You know what I mean? And that's what I think.
Brandon, I'm not saying it hasn't happened, but I have never seen it. I do think that there is an underlying bias in the black community pertaining to homosexuality.
I think it absolutely is there, and I just think it's important for us to talk about it, because everybody wants to be screaming, yes, queen, and if it's trans, it's cool, and girl, but, you know, so many times.
But when it comes to really supporting,
really backing
you think
it
that
up,
there's a lot of silence?
I think there's a lot of silence. I think there's a lot of silence, and I think it's changing. I think there are a lot of people who are advancing that cause. Like, even if you talk about, you know, a lot of people who are part of like the Black Lives Matter movement, they're very across the board inclusive.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So I definitely think it's something
well,
that's
I mean, black
changing.
is black. I don't think that we should be separating as it pertains to sexual or, you know, sexual preference. But I do want to say, I want to hear what you have to say as it pertains to homophobia as a whole in the black community. Like what's your experience with that?
Well, it's really interesting because
Okay, this is a really good. Okay, I want to hear that, then I'll ask this question. What can break? Okay, perfect. There's questions being asked.
So
what you feel about it like for black men? I I just went on a rant in my diary about the black community not being 100% pro-black because we don't accept all sexuality, genders, etc. So I'm glad this is happening right now.
Because it's a factual thing, and so from my experience, I think I've had a very lucky experience. I don't know if it's because of perception or charisma. I haven't dealt with too much homophobia, and when I do deal with the homophobia, I deal with it in this way. Listen, you're either going to deal with me or not deal with me. I'm 6'3", I'm 250 pounds. You can try and fight me if you want.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But like, and I mean, like, it's a little ratchet, it's a little ghetto, but like,
No,
I really don't care because
ghetto.
my sexuality is my sexuality, and if you have a problem with it, that's on you. I don't know if I told this story before, but I was at the Walgreens the other day, and this guy walked in with some gray sweatpants, and he was showing all the goods, and I was looking at him. He was like, "Oh, what's up, bro? What's up?" I'm like, you look good and you got gray sweatpants on?" He was like, "Oh, I'll call the police." "You'll call the police on me for being gay? So you're gonna be homophobic? So you're gonna be mad at me for what you do to women?"
Do you think that?
But here's a quick reminder.
Okay.
You can't beat my ass. Okay.
Okay, but
so
do you think that anything you were you said that you were doing the same thing that men do
to women every damn day.
But how do we know that this man, you know?
Because I watched him walk into the store and do it to somebody.
Okay, gotcha. So,
welcome to life.
Are you saying that you were intentionally violating him or just enjoying the scenery?
I was enjoying the scenery. First of all, I believe across the board, right, that if you put it out on display, you're showing it off to show it off. That's how I feel about it.
Okay.
I can't touch. I may not say anything, but you can't be mad at me for looking while I'm grocery shopping.
Okay.
Why you got them out for? Why you wearing the gray sweats for?
Okay. So he then says to you, he's gonna call the police.
Yeah.
Okay, and you felt like he was calling the police because you were gay or because he felt violated?
Because I was staring at him and I said, "I'm here shopping. Like, what's the problem?" And then like the lady from the store came to talk to me, and I was like, "Yeah, he's mad at me because I was looking at him." And she was like, "Oh, it's because I'm like gay. He's coming at me for it because I thought he was attractive." And she was like, "Okay, I'll go talk to him." Yeah, you can go talk to him because you're not about to. Let's be real, Walgreens employee. You're not about to defend the guy that's being homophobic to the gay black guy at the store. You're just not gonna do that. That don't make sense. You gonna really risk your job over this crazy guy who's mad about somebody staring at him? Okay. Wear some pants. Wear some quick compression shorts, buddy. Okay, if you don't want it to be looked at, cover it up.
Okay, I think that's a very interesting view. I hear you with if you got it out, if you pointed it out there, everyone could be looking at it. Anyone.
And I wasn't. It's not like I was like, "Ooh, Lord, let me see what's on." I was like, "Oh, okay, I'm grocery shopping. Okay." Like,
okay. You weren't like.
I'm not like. "Ooh, let me follow you down." Like,
okay.
Mine's like I'm grocery shopping. Like.
Okay. Let me see what's here. Okay. Someone recently told me they can't accept it. Is that, I'm assuming, homosexuality? Sweatpants season, Okay, what does support look like?
I think support is very much so, like you said, communities that support their people and their struggle, and understanding that support is more than just saying, "You're gay, I'm cool with you." It's also about following up with that support in other conversations with black men who are spouting homophobia. Like, it's about supporting those people and saying that he's gay, who cares? You know what I mean? Support comes in many different forms.
Okay, so
I think.
Ambella, my favorite person ever, is saying, okay, where did it go? What would be something proactive to make someone feel more accepted?
I think it's about including us in the conversation and backing that up. And standing up for black gay men, even if they aren't there. Exactly. That's the big.
Even if they aren't there. I think
there.
that's major across the board as it pertains to anything. Like, it's what you do when people aren't there.
Integrity.
What you're doing behind closed doors. That's exactly where integrity lies. But if a woman felt the stares were unwanted, would she be wrong to feel harassed?
I feel like, once again.
And explain what in depth.
I feel like, once again, I'll reiterate, right?
Yeah.
Ma'am, sir, right? If you walk outside your door, right, and all of your goodies are out and exposed to be seen, You cannot be mad when people look. Now, if somebody touches you and invades your personal space and follows you and does something weird, yeah, that's wrong. But if I walk into the aisle because it's on the way to go get laundry detergent and I stop to look at candy that I actually end up buying because I want some goddamn candy because I'm a fatty, that's life. That's life. You got stared at. Like.
Okay. What part of the conversation are gay people being left out of?
I think many people like to say, right, that our struggle is not part of the struggle. Like, and I've said it had
What
many people will separate the struggle of gay people, right, and say that's its own movement, right. So the issue with bathroom with trans people in the bathroom, right, it's not just a black person problem. You know, I mean, it's not just a gay problem, right? And it's not just something that affects gay, trans people of color too. Okay. You know what I mean? But you're not willing to include us in that. You don't feel like we deserve the same support in that conversation because you feel like the black movement doesn't need that level of distraction. We need to be focusing primarily on keeping black families together and protecting black men.
Even a straight person will look at goods of the same sex. People need to get over themselves.
Okay. Just saying, we look. If you're gonna show it, you showing it. That's on you, like.
Okay.
But I think it's important that we all really just understand that if you want to say you're pro-black, if you're for the culture, it's about supporting gay, trans, queer,
supporting anyone who
bisexual black men of color, right? Because we like to say bisexual men don't exist, right?
Okay.
But I'm sorry.
Who says that?
Within the black culture, you're either, right, you can be a lesbian, right? You can be a bisexual woman, right?
Okay.
Would you even entertain dating a bisexual black man?
Ask me.
Yeah. Like, bro.
Just for my own personal preference, I just probably wouldn't.
You
like
wouldn't.
That.
Okay. Right. And why?
I just. Okay. All right.
I'm not mad. I'm not mad at all. You know?
Let's talk about it. Me personally, I would rather deal with someone who is straight.
Because
that's just what I personally like. First of all, I don't need any other competition coming into my space or area.
Okay.
Right? So like, I gotta worry about hot ladies out here too. Now I gotta worry about hot men out here too taking your attention from me. So that's a number two. I don't want that. But I just prefer to be with a straight man.
Why are you mad? I don't know what happened. I don't know why you got.
I'm mad. Oh, she's mad.
I don't know why you're mad. I need explanation. I don't know why. I don't know what happened. Well, so this is what I'll tell you, right?
In the black culture, a gay man is a gay man. Is it wrong that I felt that someone who overreacts to encounters with something gay is hiding something? No, Bella, I agree with you 1,000,000%. I think that's kind of...
That's like saying I only like light-skinned people to me.
Me choosing to not want to be with a bisexual man, why would you only want to date straight men? I don't even
the competition thing. So wait, you go ahead first. I'll let you go ahead first.
I'm just trying to understand why my personal preference is a problem.
I don't think it's as much of a problem as much as it's very reminiscent of what she just said. I only date light-skinned people, right? Because this is my thing about when people say, wait, this is my thing when people...
I mean...
this is what when somebody says...
Let's actually talk way more about this, please. Please, actually. Let's dive deeper into this.
What I want to say is that I feel like when people say that, I feel like it's nonsense, right? Because if somebody's going to cheat... If somebody's going to cheat, they're going to cheat. Right? It doesn't matter if you like dick. It don't matter if you like pussy. If you a cheater, you a cheater. That's what you gonna do. It does not matter. Monogamy is not something that's exclusive to heterosexuals.
I'm not talking about cheating. Why I wouldn't want to be with a bisexual man.
Why would you not want to be with a bisexual man?
I don't want to be with a bisexual man.
But why?
I would like to be with someone who exclusively wants to be with me. That's it. As it pertains to women.
But why?
That's what I like. That's what I'm into.
Okay, so I just like white women.
Okay, so that's what you're into.
That's just what it is, right?
That's just what it is.
No, I mean it's not.
But why is it not okay? It's not that I have anything against a bisexual man. I'm not going to go start beating them down in the streets or putting smear campaigns about them online. If I personally don't want to be dating a bisexual man, who's openly bisexual, why is that a problem?
I'm just asking you, why is it a problem for you to date a bisexual man? The same way I would ask a black man who say that they have a problem dating black women.
Say that again?
The same way that I'm asking you why you have a problem dating bisexual men.
I don't have a problem.
You just said you wouldn't.
I just would not.
Because you would. But that's the same thing as saying I wouldn't want to have a gay kid.
Okay. What? No, it's fucking not. Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me right now?
How is it not? Tell me.
How is it my
personal preference?
My personal preference.
Like black men who like to exclusively date white women.
And I don't have a problem with that. That's their own preference. I don't understand how me wanting to be with a straight black man means that I don't want to have.
What does the straight black man have, right? That the bisexual black man doesn't have?
He doesn't have a sexual attraction to men.
How do you know that?
Because he's
not outwardly bisexual to you.
Because
we don't allow black men to be bisexual.
They can be whatever the
No, you just said they couldn't be.
How?
Because you said let me tell you why you just said they couldn't be, right? Because you said an outwardly known bisexual. You didn't say you couldn't date a man. And this is something you just said, and it's all on tape. So y'all can go back and hear her say it, okay? You said, right, that somebody who was out as bisexual, you could not date them, right?
Okay.
I wouldn't either. Insecure of how I look if you left me for a man. You should feel less insecure if your man leaves you for a man. You should feel more insecure if your man leaves you for a woman. Because guess what? What that man got, you could never bring to a table.
Yes.
You could never bring a penis and balls to the table.
Okay, so
not to come to you, you know, Chris, I love you, bro. I'm not coming to you crazy. You know what I mean?
No, but listen. So I hear you about the insecurity thing. So I'm with a bisexual man, right? He likes things that I cannot provide for him. He likes penises as a part of his sexual preference, sexually. I will never have that.
You can get a peg. You can peg your boyfriend.
What if I don't want to be doing that?
You don't want to sexually satisfy your partner.
This is what we're fucking doing.
That's what you just said. That's what you just said. And guess what? You can be dating a straight man who wants to have his.
Hold on.
Wait, you can date a straight man who wants his butthole played with, and he's not bisexual.
What if I don't gain any feelings, nothing inside
I don't get
of
no
me?
feelings from eating pussy.
But you're okay. You're not fucking with women. Okay?
Oh, right now I'm not though.
Okay. But you get pleasure out of satisfying your partner.
I get. Anyway, let me tell you.
You want to please your partner, so you will like that. I don't want to please my partner in that way. There's nothing that's gonna.
So what you just said. So what you just laid out on the table is that if you're with someone for a certain amount of time, and that partner decides they want to expand their sexual pleasures, and they say, hey, like scientifically, this is something that everybody is saying gets you off, like. And I really want to do this with you. I want you to
What's the extent of that? And I would want to talk about it.
First of all, let's not pretend like you can't get a strap on that pleasures the both of you.
Okay.
And I'm sorry to get real graphic, y'all, but you understand what I'm saying? As you start to dig layer and layer, it's more than just
What's wrong with an attraction to other men? There's nothing wrong with an attraction to other men. I'm just Stevie. Me and you are having a deep debate today. Read the fucking Stevie say, okay?
Okay, there is no reason, bro. I like you, but this don't add up. On tape, actually, you should get help if you're insecure about dating a bi man. So she's just kink shaming.
Kink shaming, wow. You don't get pressure from giving a girl, and I don't get pleasure from imagining my mind giving another man head. It's just very simple, and I think that.
But it's not about you.
But it's not about.
But do you get pleasure seeing your man
honestly,
having another girl ride your man though? Is that like a preference? Like I don't understand what that means.
No,
Like,
definitely not. But this is what it's about.
So
right?
what does it matter? What he does, we know how
This is what I believe. I honestly believe this, right? This is coming from a place from a deep-rooted school of thought, right? This is where you guys are at with this. And this is totally fine. But what you're not going to do is you're not going to tell me that me saying that I have a sexual or physical or personal preference to straight men, that means that I would not want to get a child.
Oh, I'm sorry. That was like, yeah.
I would never.
But I stand behind what I said in regards to, you know, like when people are like, well, I only date this one type of ethnicity because it's my preference. I think that's BS.
Love is love. Love is love. Everyone has secret, hidden things that they're not.
But this is why black men can't be bisexual, and it's why all these black men are down in Atlanta having DL sex, right, and getting their partners positive because we're not allowing black men to be bisexual and saying it's okay.
Black men can be whatever the fuck they want to be, and there's all a large population who are accepting and wanting. You cannot force things on people that they don't want.
I understand that.
These men and women have avenues of fucking love and pleasure, whatever it is that they fucking want. They don't have to be on the down low. The mass population is not shaming black men for being bisexual.
Once again, when you come out as bisexual as a black man, you are automatically put into the category of being a gay black man. Because you, like not every other black woman, like many black women, right, compartmentalize the idea of bisexuality.
I'm not saying bisexuality means gay. I'm not saying
no, but what you're saying is that because to talk to a partner or be with a partner who's possibly bisexual is more problematic, is more of an issue than being.
I don't think it's kink shaming. It's just about your limits, and everyone has limits. You cannot speak for the entire black populace. Look. That was very important.
You can say that. Wait, go. I'll let you say what you gotta say, because I'm about to double dutch into that statement.
Do it.
I'm about to go say what you need to say.
Look, I'm just saying that there's nothing wrong with people liking what they like, and I don't think that me saying that, and I don't believe that just because a man is bisexual means that he's gay. I don't think that.
You just wouldn't date them because your preference is to be with a straight man.
I don't.
Because a bisexual man.
For a lot of complex reasons, and this is
such as
a conversation that is very fresh right now, and obviously, thoughts can evolve. but what I am going to say is that I stand firmly behind what the fuck I said, right? 100% and wholeheartedly.
But what were those reasons as to why?
It's my personal preference to date a guy who is outwardly straight. Because that's what I like. I feel confident in what I bring to the table based off of what I know that he is telling me that he wants, sexually and emotionally.
But what you're saying is because a bisexual man happens to find pleasure in another avenue.
And there may be a time where I might limit his sexual pleasure, which may open up.
But you already might be limiting your partner's sexual pleasure when you say that. If your straight partner decides to want to move on to anal pleasure for himself, that's a line you're not willing to cross.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. I'm actually not saying that.
Okay.
I'm actually not fucking saying that. Actually. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all.
But earlier in the conversation, you were saying that would be something that, like, if you didn't want to do, but if you value your partner, right? You value pleasuring your partner.
Yes.
Right?
We're here day one. This is everyone's open about what they're into, what they like. Day 2 into this, month 4, 1 year. If someone is outwardly straight and not showing any interest in, anal pleasure or anything of that sort. There's going to take some time and growth in our relationship where if that comes up, it's going to be a natural progression, conversations that were had along the way where he and I, in the privacy of our relationship, are exploring and talking about these things.
Okay.
Straight up. And he may say, oh, well, when I was 10 or I was 16, I did. Okay, now we're talking about it. But on the rip, this is what I want to be with. This is what I want to be doing.
Okay, so you're saying in order for you to be comfortable with the lane of that pleasure, you have to build a core. So once again,
what the fuck Stevie's saying now? What the fuck?
But you're making black men feel insecure, like the pool of love is forced to one way or another.
I'm not making black men feel that way. How can I answer that make black men feel any fucking type of way?
I mean, okay, technically I should probably chill because if you're not following through as to why this is an issue, bisexual men wouldn't want to date you. So let me mind myself and eat my food.
Okay, wait, say that again.
I mean, okay, technically I should probably chill because if you're not following through as to why this is an issue.
Okay, so because black men are feeling because me, single, solitary, or the other however many black women are saying these types of statements, that means that all black men are feeling shamed by us?
I feel like, yeah, actually. And it's not just you. It's a large pool of people. And you can say, no, I don't speak. You don't represent all black people. Like Jesse Jackson is not the emperor of all black people. Neither is Al Sharpton. And neither are we, right? But I am personally speaking from places of experience, right? And I've been in many situations where I've had the conversation about bisexuality and not being acceptable. And what's funny is there's a show called Grownish. Excuse me, y'all. That's that Chinese food coming up. But where they talk about that as being an issue, as it being a part of the problem where we don't allow bisexuality, which is something that occurs, which is natural, which if anybody that's known me in the 28 years of me being alive, you know I'm a little bisexual.
There's a lot in my life. You know? I can't even, I don't even know where to, just please talk about Stevie because this is just bringing me so much joy and pleasure.
Are you for real? That's like saying only so many white women voted for Trump. Colored people are offended. Like, yes, what? Like, yeah, like a lot. There's plenty of people that represent this group.
I don't get into this fucking generalizing and clumping everyone as a whole. Can we just focus on the individual conversation right now?
So if you want to focus on the individual conversation,
let's focus on the individual conversation.
Right,
I'm here for all of it. Bring it back. There's a lot happening in my life, and I really want to talk about it. But bring me home here.
Really quick to bring it back.
Use these fluffy kid gloves with me as you guys help me see where you guys are coming from.
So just to narrow the conversation down, right? Okay. And conversing with you, right? When you say you have a preference, I'm cool with that. I have a preference as well. I have a preference for men. I like Latin men. Okay. I have a preference, right? I have a preference. But the thing about a preference is that a preference doesn't dictate who you are willing to talk to, right? It doesn't dictate who you're willing to open yourself up to. It means that this is what I like. I generally like to drive to the quick check, but it doesn't mean I can't walk to the quick check. You understand what I'm saying? A preference isn't this thing that's concrete and set in stone, and that I think is one of the biggest issues is that there's this idea.
Think that sexuality is concrete and set in stone? Is that what you're saying?
No. What I'm saying is for you to say that my preference is set in stone. I think there is a deeper root to it, and even in having this conversation, and I mean this in the most loving way, and we would say that, I would say this if it was just you and me, you know what I mean? Yeah. The only answer that you got from me is because that's my preference. You know what I mean?
And you think that that's wrong?
I think that there's a deeper reason there, and you just haven't sussed it out or actually thought about it. That's what I genuinely think, because it may not really be something that you actually had deep thoughts about as to why you wouldn't date a bisexual man over a straight man, unless it is something that you've had. And then if it is, there's an underlying reason as to why you're not willing to date a bisexual man. Okay. And that's the reason that I'm looking for. Okay. So it's one of the two things.
Okay, all right, okay. That's fair. That's totally fair. That's fair. I hear what you're saying. I hear you, Stevie. I'm here for it. Okay. I cannot give you an answer.
Okay.
I cannot. You know what? I'm choosing to not give you an answer.
Okay.
That's what I'll say. As it pertains to that, but I do want to also say that there is still nothing wrong with someone having a preference. Obviously, preference is rooted somewhere, but people are allowed to feel the way that they want to feel. I understand that there are lots of people in the population that are being shut out by preferences and feelings, right? It's not just gay and bisexual and transgender people. There are lots of people being shut out. Lots of men not loving me because I'm dark skinned. There's a lot of people, but they are allowed, even if they have no reason, even if their reasoning is rooted in nothing, the human experience allows you to do and say as you please. Like, that is your right to do whatever you want.
It is your right, but you know, there are underlying factors as to why we do things, and it's about us doing the work to determine why we do certain things and make certain decisions.
A lot of ingrained bullshit that has come from our families and our surroundings, but that takes self-work and a person who wants to do the work, right? Mm-hmm. So like a black guy could be bisexual and want to be with someone else, but if that person is choosing not to look within themselves and do the self-work and go through those things to identify why it is that they're choosing not to be doing that, that's their own thing. But because to have this conversation where everything is about being inclusive, being understanding, and acknowledging is one thing. Like, I'm gonna acknowledge that this conversation is being had. I'm acknowledging what Stevie is saying. I'm acknowledging what you're saying. But that doesn't mean that I have to now change or publicly identify anything to validate your feelings, right? I don't have
I think when you come from a certain perspective and you live a certain lifestyle in regards to speaking a certain way, like we have a platform right now, right? Yeah. And we're talking about being woke and being a part of this conversation and opening up the venues. I think we do have a responsibility to express why we feel those ways. Okay. I don't necessarily agree with that. I think if behind closed doors, like if it's a conversation that you'd rather have behind closed doors, and then we come back and come talk to it, I agree with.
Not necessarily. We've had conversations about this before. It's not necessarily about me not wanting to really like shovel through it here. It's just about sometimes it involves other people that it's not their choice to be putting these things out there, you know? So in order for me to tell the story, I'd have to tell the story, and it involves other people, and then that's not there, you know? So I'm choosing to say that this is how I feel based off of my experiences in my life, that I'm choosing to date outwardly straight men. That's that.
And if they happen to be closeted bisexual, you're good to go. That's what you just said. You said outwardly straight men.
No, because I know that men hide their sexuality. I'm acknowledging that. Not all men, white or black, okay, or Hispanic or whatever the case may be, not all men are, because of the fact that they're men, are not comfortable expressing themselves in that way. So that's what the fuck I'm saying. The fuck?
Do you want to jump in on some of these?
Like if he asked me to put on a strap on, I think I'd be like, hey, this is my line I draw. So I avoid situations like that for the most part. I'm not sure, but I'm thinking saying she won't date a bi man. That's what I'm thinking.
And I think once again, I think that's about
doing the work.
I think that's about, you know, and I'm sorry once again, like for me personally, I think that's very much like DJ Khaled talking about, I'm not gonna go down on my wave. Like scientifically, right? The prostate is the male G-spot. It's the most pleasurable part in the male's body. Like, so when somebody says that I'm gonna tell my partner, no, I'm not willing to fulfill that sexual desire, like I think that's selfish for your partner. And I think once if that line ever were to come, I think people evolve and I think people change.
I think it would be a little insecurity. I would wonder if they are missing being with another man while they are with me. Doing the work is important. Some people believe that homosexuality is a disease that can be cured, Is that a deep-rooted issue?
That's all that.
How would you feel, Brandon, if your boyfriend said, I'm more attracted to women right now, can we take a break? Would that be a problem?
No, I would need you to figure that out. I would need you to know
that he wants a break or he wants to date a woman.
I would feel like, honestly, I wouldn't be mad at either. Simply because I've been with my boyfriend for 4 years, right?
Or
so,
any boyfriend,
like, anybody, I've been in an extended relationship with somebody, and you say there are these feelings that exist. I'd rather you, like, face me with those feelings and we deal with that, and we not waste time, potentially waste time. We get married, we do whatever, and all of a sudden, you know, it's this new thing that pops up and you're looking for a new girl, you know, you need some space. I'd rather you do that now. Do that in this part of our relationship.
So would you be mad that he wants a break, or would you be more mad if he wanted a break, or that he wants to date a woman, or that does that not bring on any insecurities? As everyone
I'm more upset about a break, right?
Okay.
Because I feel like a break could be inspired by anything other. It could be inspired by more than just a woman, right? So at the moment, he might be saying, oh, it's a woman right now, but understand that doesn't matter because that same woman could have been a man. You understand what I'm saying? I think it's more than just sexual desires.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay.
It runs deeper than that, and I think that's one of the biggest problems in this conversation.
Okay, not everyone's sexuality is fluid. People like what they like. I think the problem is when we try to make things more than this.
I think everybody's sexuality might be a lot more concrete as they get older, but I think everybody's sexuality at some point has some level of fluidity or questioning to it because that's human nature.
If you want people to respect your sexuality, how can you not respect someone else's? Oh, Kyle said he doesn't go down on women. People
Yeah.
Okay.
Khaled said he don't eat the box.
That's like you. Whoa. Oh, no.
Wait, no, just share it.
Share it?
Share it. Right, and just go right back to the live. Alright.
Okay. Oh, the lives are shutting down. Okay, the lives are shutting down.
Only the Instagram lives.
For an hour. I want to talk to my girl Stevie. Well, if your current lover came out as bisexual, are you leaving him? That's the tea. You don't have to answer, but that's some food for thought. Okay. If my current partner came out as bisexual, am I leaving him? It wouldn't depend on the fact that he's bisexual.
No,
it would depend on.
No.
It would depend on the level of our connection in our love. Maybe that'd be like, okay, nigga, this nigga don't got no job. He don't got no money. And now I'll probably be like,
I'm looking right into the camera, Stevie. I hope you know I'm like looking into your soul because she lying.
What are you talking? Okay, look. I said what I fucking said.
When a man leaves a woman for a man, it's common and not such a shock as, when a man leaves a woman for a man, it's common and not such a shock as when a man leaves a woman,
When a man leaves a woman for a man, it's a big deal. That live got shut down. The truth shall set you free. Okay. Let's round this out because the lives are just like very.
Oh, so you would date a bisexual man? I think it's very easy to be concrete about it in your head to say that I would not.
You know what? I hear what you guys are saying. I really do. I hear where you guys are coming from. I'm living in my truth. I'm living where I'm at with that. If my love, my husband, someone that I'm committed to, express sexual desires that I was open to sharing with him, he and I will continue on in a relationship. But if I'm not open to sharing with him, then that means no, I would not be staying with my man who came out as bisexual.
I just simply feel.
Say your shit.
I just simply feel like. I feel like it's very simple, right? The reality is if the man wasn't, a lot of black women, right, date bisexual men, mess with men who are bisexual, marry bisexual men, right, and they don't realize it, right? And the reality is those same men, right, had they been allowed to be bisexual, really realize they weren't bisexual, they're actually gay, right? They didn't have to stay in their closet.
The black women, the white women, the Spanish women who are saying outwardly that they choose to do this are not stopping bisexual or gay men from being their fucking true selves.
You're sure, as a society, when you're in a group, when you're in a room with 30 black women and they say, I will not date bisexual black men, I will not date a bisexual man, it puts you into a corner, it puts you into a hole. It says if you feel bisexual, you better bottle that shit up, keep it to yourself, and in public, get all the pussy you can, and if you want to do something gay, keep it behind closed doors. That's what it is. Because you may feel like you don't speak for the whole community, but the way that you feel is very, 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 very fucking common in our community. Okay. So you may not speak for the whole community, but for a representation of
communities. I hear you.
Not in all communities, very specifically the black community.
I myself.
Very specifically the black community.
I myself cannot take on the fight to healing all bisexual men who are feeling trapped in their spaces.
I mean, nobody's asking you to do that. Nobody's asking you to do that. But it's just holding you accountable to the words that came out of your mouth.
Oh,
that's all. And I love you, but that's what you said. And you and twice throughout this live you said outwardly straight. Outwardly straight.
Yes, because
that's
I'm
what meaning that being closeted allows you to have the protection to express and explore your sexuality in the way that you need to.
I'm acknowledging the fact that I know that men hide their true feelings about sexuality, about what their sexual preferences are.
So what you're saying? But because of the way they speak about it, they'll never ever tell you.
Why not?
Why wouldn't they tell you?
So you're
because we just had this conversation with you made it very clear.
No, but listen. Just because someone's not going to accept who you are, that means that you have to hide who you are. Still be your true self and do what you want to do. People are going to accept you or not accept you. People are going to accept me.
We make all types of sacrifices for our partners on a very regular basis, so don't do that. That's not real. That's not real. We make sacrifices for the people that we care about and for relationships we want to be in.
So if I'm in a relationship with someone who starts to express these types of feelings,
well, would you feel comfortable expressing it? Could they even feel comfortable? I don't know, because we just had a conversation where outright you just said you wouldn't date a bisexual nigga.
I'm drinking the tea. Okay. So
sure does. You're forced to hide. Okay.
All right. Look, we're not gonna save the world today, but I think that
And that's always what it comes down to when it comes to talking about gay black men and the struggle of gay black men. We're not gonna save everybody today.
Well, look, I'm open and I'm here for the conversation, but I think that your stance, trying to invalidate my feelings about.
I'm not trying to invalidate. I asked you questions in regards to it.
That me having a feeling and having a point of view and a preference is hurting black men. Like I said, you have feelings and preferences that hurt other people as well. Why are we talking about
then
that?
Let's talk about them. Pull them up.
Well, I'm just saying, why can't I hold a feeling and a preference? Why
you can, but you can't be mad when somebody holds you accountable for having a feeling and preference.
Okay, hold me accountable. I still stand behind what the
and that's your right. That's your right, but I still have the right to say what I want in regards to
100%.
You understand what I'm saying?
100%. Yes, I hear you.
Like if everybody gets to have everything, we all get to have everything, right?
Facts.
But I also get to compare it to black men who say they don't date black women. They only date white and Latino women because white and Latino women, know how to stay in their place and aren't possessive and they aren't controlling and they aren't all the things. Or I only date light-skinned women because light-skinned women are pretty and light-skinned women have better hair and light-skinned women do this. It's okay. Like it's.
Okay. That point was missed, but look, I hear you. I hear you 100%. I'm not denying the fact that I'm sure that this type of rhetoric affects this situation. Yes. I'm acknowledging that.
Okay.
I'm acknowledging that I'm sure me saying that certain bisexual men will feel either threatened that they can't talk to me, that they can't be themselves, or maybe want to hide in line. That type of thinking goes across the board for any type of anything in a relationship. I don't smoke, I don't drink. I don't like when guys do this in a relationship. Maybe someone might feel threatened and want to lie about who they really are. Okay, people do this all the time.
But are sexuality and drug use the same thing, and drinking the same thing?
It's not. Look, I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that people in relationships feel like they need to hide themselves all the time for different types of reasons.
Okay.
And yes, me saying statements like that, everyone's sharing their preferences, may make people feel like they have to hide themselves. But there's always someone.
I just want to know why you have your preference. That's all I ask. That's all I ask.
And I'm not fucking sharing.
And that's your right. That's your, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying, when we have these, like, the point of us having these conversations are to break those barriers and jump through those hoops. You know what I mean? And have the tough conversations. And I think it is a tough conversation. You know what I mean? But the reality is like, once again, it's very quick and very easy to even this. I love how I feel like talking about the topic of bisexuality was more of a hotbed topic than talking about homosexuality outright. And I think that's very interesting. But I still think
I think that I agree with you 100%. That actually turned out to be the more touching subject. If 100 black women were polled and 65 said that they wouldn't date bi men and 35 said that they would, are the 65 not allowed to like what they like?
I mean, listen, you can like what you like, but when I ask you why you like what you like and you don't give me a real answer, it's probably based on
who's determining what's a real answer or not a real answer?
Oh, girl, don't do that. Because that's the same thing. Like, so you're going to sit here when we talk about, we have the colorism debate, right? Okay. When we talk about black men, right, who talk about specifically dating light-skinned women, right? We're not going to talk about the remnants of slavery and the obsession with white people and whiteness and white culture.
Okay.
That comes along with that? Okay. No, you have to talk about that. Because that's a part of it.
Okay.
Like, it's your right to have a preference, right? Mm-hmm. But understand where your preference comes from and realize that maybe your preference is more than just a preference, is that it's a little bit of hate. Like, I used to think to myself, listen, hear me out. I used to think
100% the answer for every reason why that black men like light-skinned women or white women. That's not the answer 100 all across the board. That's why. Maybe someone grew up in a white neighborhood. That's all of his experience was around these people. Maybe that's what his eye like.
Honestly, I say this because I do believe in interracial relationships. I believe in interracial love. I think it's a beautiful thing. You know what I mean? But let's be real. There's more to the conversation than just saying it's simply preference. It's more than that. Like, it's more than just that. Like, it's a deeper conversation.
There's a lot of certain things are very deep, but other things can be just surface.
When I say I don't like black people, my answer is because they suck. And that answer means something.
Okay. Based on your experience.
I mean, I feel like, but when I say I don't like black people, right? We all have been in a room, like, I can't stand black people. Why we gotta act like this? We do that, mm-hmm. right? But that doesn't mean I can't stand black people, really. Like, you know what I mean? I'm going to just go ahead and throw that out there. Like, when I say that, there's definitely a reasoning to me saying that, because there's an aspect of the culture that drives me crazy or upsets me, and that's the aspect that I'm referencing when I'm saying that. Mm-hmm. Like, so it's a quick synopsis. But there's a reasoning behind it, and I think there's a valid reason to say why I don't, which is why I think there's also a valid reason to say why you only date something very specifically. There's a reason behind it. There's a reason behind it. Honestly, y'all, this live has gone a little longer than we intended it to.
And I'm hot. I can't wait for this post-live conversation.
This post-live.
The post-live. If you guys want to be a fly on the wall for that.
She about to abuse me, y'all, because she don't know how to act.
Stevie, you call us after. Whatever woman's number is, you call us after, okay? Once again, thank you guys so much for participating in the live. Follow me at Bitch Got a Couch on Instagram and Twitter, Bitch Got a Couch on Facebook. Subscribe to the YouTube page, Bitch Got a Couch. See us here.
Wait, follow
Monday.
me, Frodery 2030 Instagram.
Oh, I was gonna let you just jump in there, nigga.
Yeah, well,
I was gonna let you get your time. I was gonna let you get your time.
You know Chinese food is crossing up
subscribe.
my justice system.
Oh
right
my
now.
god.
I'm not esophagus.
Subscribe, watch, and like.
Share. Watch with your friends. Talk about it, guys.
Yes. Whoever, Stevie, tell your friends to be in the live on Monday.
Oh, Stevie, girl. Yes, Monday is Botham. We're going to talk about Botham. We're going to talk about Centoya. Okay, we're going to talk about systematic injustice. You know what I mean?
Read Chrissy. I need to work on me because this is I need to work on me because this is eye-opening and deep. I feel horrible now. Once a man told me he is bi, I put him right in my gay love's contacts. I need to get my mind together. Thanks for the honesty. Much love.
Thank you, Christina. I appreciate you, girl. I appreciate you. I appreciate all your comments. I appreciate everybody's comments. Stevie, thank you, girl, for joining in. Love you too. Please come back in Monday and join in the conversation.
Yes.
Be
Be
a part of it.
about Botham and Centoya.
Yeah.
The legal system and.
I don't want Esley Merrick because we mentioned him in the Botham video, and me and my boyfriend gonna watch for sure. He ain't got a choice. I respect it. Do your thing, girl. Oh, get your man up in here.
Okay. Yes. Monday, live at 10 p.m.
Monday, guys. Join us.
And I'm going to have a surprise for Brandon on Monday. So if you want to see Brandon's surprise,
She gonna punch me in the face, y'all.
watch on Monday.
Right on
I got a
camera.
surprise for Brandon. You hear me, guys? See you guys on Monday.
Bye.
Bye. Brandon, I'm going to call Davian over here to get you.
Well, I'm live on all my stuff, so they hear you about the domestic violence me. Good.
No, we can't joke about that because that's not funny.
Ooh, that's right. That was the line. That was the
We
line.
can't
That's what we
joke
talked about.
domestic abuse. Oh my goodness.
Thank you, guys.
Bye,
Rachel,
guys.
thank you for watching, girl. Thank you for commenting. And honestly, I want to give a special shout out to you because thank you because you commented bisexual in my post, and I was like, that was hot. I was like, let me remember that. Thank you, girl.
Oh my god, the live was popping tonight, Brandon.
The lives be fire, yo.
Yeah.